I'm Sofia Malone, and you're watching Herstory. Today, I'm going to be Betty White. Let's get this party started. Betty White was born in Oak Park, Illinois on January 17, 1922, and grew up as an only child. During the Great Depression, Betty's family moved to Los Angeles for more opportunity. To make extra money, Betty's father would build radios and sell them, but many people didn't have money to pay. So, instead of money, he thought, I'll exchange them for dogs. Pretty soon, Betty's family had a house full of dogs, which is probably what started Betty's love of animals. Betty's family took lots of vacations to the high Sierras. These trips gave Betty a great idea. She was like, I'm going to be a forest ranger. Sadly, women could not be forest rangers at that time, so Betty had to put this dream on hold. As a teen, Betty attended Beverly Hills High School, which was home to many famous actors. It was there that Betty took an interest in writing and performing in plays, and she decided, OMG, I totally need to be an actress. Her career started out mainly in radio, including reading commercials and doing small parts on shows, making only about $5 per show. In the 1940s, Betty began appearing on radios and shows and eventually got her own show called The Betty White Show. In 1949, she began her career on television, appearing as a co-host of a local live television variety show called Hollywood on Television. When her co-host left in 1952, Betty was like, "See you later, alligator. I got this covered." And she took over hosting the show herself. The show was 5.5 hours of live ad-lib 6 days per week and included Betty singing some songs each broadcast too. In 1951, Betty was nominated as Best Actress on Television for the show. This was the first award and category in Emmy history designated for women on TV. Throughout the 50s and 60s, Betty appeared on many late-night talk shows and daytime game shows, including appearing many times in a popular game show called Password. In fact, Betty became known as the First Lady of game shows. Betty married Password's host, Alan Luden, in 1963. Betty had been briefly married 2 times before, but she was like, hey, 3rd time's a charm, right? Besides, Alan was the love of her life. They remained married until his death in 1981. Betty never remarried after that, famously saying, "Want to have the best? Who needs the rest?" In 1973, Betty began making guest appearances and then got a very regular role on a very popular sitcom called The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Betty won 2 Emmy Awards for her role on that show. Betty also loved hosting parades. She hosted the Tournament of Roses parade for 19 years. And later, she hosted the Macy's Day Thanksgiving parade for 10 years. Woo-hoo! Parades are so much fun. Ooh, just look at that giant turkey float. In 1985, Betty got the biggest hit role of her career, Rose Nyland, on a sitcom called Golden Girls. The show ran from 1985 to 1992 and was very different than any other show on television. It was focused on single, older, all-women characters who shared a home in Miami, Florida. The female leads were very strong and funny characters. Betty's character, Rose, was from a small Scandinavian town of St. Olaf, Minnesota, known for saying some pretty silly sayings that she got from her hometown. Like when she was trying not to brag about something, she would say, "I'm not one to blow my own Verturbenflugen." Or talking about one of her favorite tasty hometown treats, Janurkin Flurkin cake is delicious! This character was so lovable and funny that Betty would be the most recognized as Rose for her entire life. Betty won an Emmy for her first season on Golden Girls and was nominated every year that the show aired. In the 1990s and 2000s, Betty guest starred and had the recurring roles on many popular television shows. In June 2010, Betty landed on another recurring role in a popular sitcom called Hot in Cleveland, for which she was nominated yet another Emmy Award. Betty always had a bit of naughty sense of humor, and from 2012 to 2014, she was the executive producer and host of a show called Betty White's Off the Rockers, a show which senior citizens played practical jokes on younger people. For this show, she received another 3 Emmy nominations. Betty White has won almost too many awards to name for her accomplishments, but to name just a few: 5 Primetime Emmy Awards between 1951 to 2011. In 2010, she won the Screen Actors Guild Life Achievement Award. She also has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 2014, Betty was awarded the longest TV career for a female performer by the Guinness Book of World Records for over 70 years in show business. Phew! That's a lot of rewards. Betty also remained a fierce pet lover and animal rights advocate her whole life. She was a longtime supporter of Los Angeles Zoo. Los Angeles Zoo named her Ambassador to Animals, and there is even a bronze plaque of her near the gorilla exhibit at the zoo. In 2010, the U.S. Forest Service, along with the Smokey Bear, made Betty White an honorary forest ranger, fulfilling her childhood dream. When Betty received this honor, more than 1/3 of the Forest Service employees were women. Betty is now 96 years old and continues to work to this day. Betty White's inspirational career shows us all that age is truly just a number. And the rest, you ask? The rest? That's Herstory. Thanks for laughing.